Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph and this is Ordinary Plant Girl. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you are returning, thank you so much for spending more of your time with me. This is my last video of 2022. I did think about posting last week, but you know, with Christmas and everything, I just wanted to kind of be present in the moment and spend time with friends and family, which I did. Now you're getting this video, which will be posted on December 30th. So it's definitely my last video of the year. And with that being the case, I thought that I would go through 5 of my best growers for the year. So if that is something that you are interested in, please stick around. Okay, so it was actually a little hard to go around and find my 5 best growers. There was a couple that were super easy, and then, you know, 1 or 2 that were kind of hard. There is only 5 of them, and for the most part, only 1 genus is represented twice in this video. So that's pretty good. I wasn't even trying to do that. I just kind of walked around my collection, saw which ones I am primarily drawn to all the time, or that are kind of, you know, in my face, and I chose them. So 3 of these plants I'm going to have to pop up somewhere on the screen. This side, I don't know, I'll figure it out in editing. 3 of these plants are a little bit bigger and couldn't be moved. Well, technically they could be moved, but they're on stakes and it would just be quite the process. So I just decided that I would put in footage of these plants for you. I'm also, hopefully I found footage of what they look like at the beginning of the year. I'm filming this and I actually haven't gone through those yet, so hopefully you will see them. But I'm going to get started with the ones that I could move that are sitting right here beside me that I thought were my best growers of the year. And we're going to start off with this one right here, which is my Echinacea Silver Bay. Here she is. And I'm super surprised at how well of a grower it was. I had always heard and been told, anybody that had Echinacea in general, that they were really easy, they didn't need a lot of care. It was kind of like a set it and forget it type thing, which for the most part is true. In my time with Echinacea, I have had 4. 2 of which are still alive, and 1 does not look as good as this one. So this is my Echinacea Silver Bay. I do think it is probably my favorite. I have so much trouble with the ones that have color. So my other currently living Echinacea is the Red Siam, which is beautiful, but I can't get it to look like this. This one here has, you can see that it has 3 stalks in there. My Red Siam did as well, but only 1 of them seems to be growing with any luck. But yeah, this, and I just watered this not that long ago, and it's practically dry again. Either way though, this one has been a trooper. I got this plant in January of 2021. So we are coming up on 2 years for this plant, but it wasn't doing as well as it is now. This year, it seemed to have just taken off, and I'm absolutely here for it. I love this plant so much. So besides the striking leaves, I mean, if you actually look at the size of these leaves as well, they're actually pretty beefy. I didn't even think until I took it down that they were that big. As for the care, I try not to wait for my plants to get visually distressed before I water them, but where this one sits, I kind of do. So I wait until she's a little weepy, and then I give her a nice thorough watering, and she is good to go, and she will just start spitting out leaves. Like, I watered her a couple of days ago, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to show you these, but out of 2 of the stalks, let's see, I'm not sure, can I see? I can't even see, I'm peeking. She's got a new leaf coming in right here, And probably not going to see this one either. And another new leaf coming in on this stalk right here. So what more can I ask for? It's a gorgeous plant. I do, even if I get another Silver Bay, I would be happy with that. But I do have a wish list plant video that will be coming out next month. And we'll just see if there is an Aglaonema on that list. Okay, the next one is a Hoya. It is one of my favorite Hoyas. Although I have accumulated more that are quickly becoming favorites as they get bigger. But this one is just one of my originals. So this here is my Hoya Vinolina, which currently has a dead leaf hanging out down here. I'll pull that off. And it doesn't lose very many leaves, so that's shocking. So this is my Hoya Vinolina. I got this Hoya back in, when did I get it? April? Oh, it was my April Fool's Day. I had an April Fool's Day haul. Sorry, I guess it was an April Fool's Day unboxing. I'm correct. And this was one of them. So you can see here that these leaves down here are pretty much the original leaves on the plant, and these ones pretty much grew in this year. This one's still not even as thick yet as the rest of them are. But this plant is beefy. When I got this, I had some trouble with it because it had, for some reason, the roots wouldn't uptake any water. And it was actually a plant friend of mine who at the time was very new for me. We had just started talking, and she was the one that told me that it was probably a root issue, and that's why the leaves constantly looked dehydrated and shriveled and everything. So I ended up chopping this plant. I chopped it back, and it wasn't very big at all. If I can insert a photo, I will. But I did chop this plant back, and once I did, it just decided that it was going to reformulate its root system and grow for me. Now, another thing that I know contributed to the growth of this plant for me was moving it out of terracotta and into plastic. So if you've been with me for a while, you know that I have issues with terracotta. I can't grow anything in terracotta unless it's a jade plant. That's it. The only other thing that I have in terracotta currently is another plant that was actually on my best growers list, but I bet you would have grown better if it wasn't in terracotta. But we'll get there. So I took it out of terracotta, put it in a plastic pot, and it just took off. I even have a peduncle here, and there is one. Why is this so difficult? There's one right here as well. So this Hoya has bloomed for me a couple of times, and most of them just in 1 year. 3 or 4 times I think it's actually bloomed for me, judging by the size of this peduncle. But yeah, it is one of my favorites. I had no idea that the leaves could even get this, oh geez, this big. Like that is massive for me, because a lot of the Hoyas I have are either small leaved or a little bit bigger than small. So this, I have found that the big leaved Hoyas are my favorites. They just are. So yeah, this one is about, what did I say? April 1st, 2020. So I've had it over 2 years now, and it sat in a west-facing window for the past 2 years. It had absolutely no problems with that. We'll see how it does this year because it is not in a window, but it does have sufficient light. So hopefully it's gonna grow really well. And I know that I don't have to cut it, but I would like to cut it. So I'm thinking that I just want kind of a full little bush of this. So that might be something I do in the future. I might just kind of hack this back, propagate it, and put it back in here and see where we go from there. that'll be another project coming in the future. So that brings me to the 3 that I cannot move. Although one of them is currently right behind me. This one here is my Philodendron Green Apple Congo. I have actually had this plant for, this plant specifically, since 2018. But I did have, oh, this is, okay. I've had this portion of this plant since 2018. It is actually older than that, if I really think about it, because the original plant that I got, I picked up, I couldn't even tell you the year, it was a long time ago. I had absolutely no idea it was a Congo, and it pretty much stayed small. It didn't have a lot of light. It was just this little table plant that I had. I had it on my kitchen table. It was just a tiny little thing. My roommate accidentally knocked it off and broke the tip off of it. This is that tip. So when I planted this, it was maybe, I don't know, this much. It had a leaf on it maybe the size of a teaspoon, and then the next one that grew was about the size of a tablespoon. But once I put this in a once I put this in a southwest facing window, it just took right off. And last year, not even last year, this year, it had some of the most growth on it. The past 2 years it has grown really, really well. But this year's when the leaves really sized up and it just became pretty much a staple for me. If you follow me on Instagram, my profile picture is just me holding a basket, and you'll be able to see a leaf in the photo, and that is from this plant when, like a couple of years ago, just in 2020. And it was just this little thing here. But she is now massive, just absolutely massive. I love her so much. She takes so much neglect. Considering I look at her all the time, I don't water her all the time because she is in, I think it's a 20-inch pot. So it probably gets watered once a month. All the plants over here in the big pots get watered about once a month. And she just sits there, just large and in charge. And I love her so much for that. The Congo family is probably one of my favorite families. Okay, so that was my Philodendron Green Apple Congo. Now, next in line, make sure I don't run over my dog. I will post the footage over here for you. But the next in line would be my Philodendron Florida Ghost. So, as I was just saying, my Florida Ghost, I got as part of my April 2020 plant haul from North Shore Tropicals. I did get this plant. I think it had, not that I can remember offhand, but maybe 4 or 5 leaves on it when I got them. They were pretty small. Now, as you can see, she has grown. I still think that she would probably grow more for me if I didn't have her in the current pot that she's in. I did try to repot her, but she wasn't ready. She just wasn't ready to come out of that pot. But now the last leaf that came out is noticeably smaller than the previous leaves. So I'm not sure if that means that she's ready now, or maybe she was stunted from me taking her out of the pot in the first place and then figuring out she didn't need to be taken out of the pot and putting her back in. Maybe I haven't watered her enough. That could also be a thing because she dries out faster than the other ones that I have, but it's possibly a thing. Anyway, one of the trials I've actually had with this plant is that it's like every other leaf that I get comes out white. It was in a southwest facing window, and even though it was high light, more often than not, I would get more of a minty leaf as opposed to a white leaf. It is currently attaching itself to the stake, which makes me so happy. I am terrible with moss pools. I will be trying moss pools. The ones that I made myself, terrible. I'm trying to get a little better. I've only got 2. trying to make sure that I keep them sufficiently watered. But we'll see how that goes, because I'm just absolutely terrible with them. But if I can put it on a stake and walk by and miss the stake every now and then, doesn't seem to be a problem. But my Florida Ghost is currently attaching itself to that stake, which makes me so happy. Hopefully I will be able to get bigger and better leaves, but it is going to be a little bit of a chore to transplant this one because it's currently in an 8-inch pot. I will be moving it up to a 10-inch, possibly 12. I think the pot I got was 12. I don't know. And we'll see how that goes the next time it comes around to repotting that, which won't be until the spring. I'm not going to do anything with it right now. I'm not going to do anything with any of these right now. Next, but definitely not the least, if you were with me at the beginning of last year, you will know that I had kind of started a series that I was doing based on some focus plants I had for the year, which I completely failed at because I forgot all about them. And if I'm honest, out of the 6, yeah, there was 5 intentionally and 1 bonus one. So I had 6 plants that I was going to try and focus on for the year, try and make them grow bigger, make them happy. Out of all of those, only 1 actually survived that. And you will see that one over here as well. And that is my Epipremnum pinnatum. So this plant is also on a stake, and it attached to the stake really early on, and it just thrives there. I do nothing. I water it, I miss the stake, and that's it. It travels along it on its own. If you look at the stakes, they're actually only about this wide. There are pieces of cedar trim that was here at the house. I didn't want to waste them, and because they were cedar, I figured that I could make some use out of them, and I definitely have. And even though it's thin, you will see other plant parents that have their plants on planks, wide planks that give their roots so much more room. But the plant finds a way. It finds a way to make do with just that thin little piece of wood, and it latches on for dear life, and hopefully it just keeps going. Currently it is only, it's got so much further to go, and I do have to say though that the internodal spacing on this plant is so short that it's going to take, unless I change the lighting, it's going to take a long time to crawl its way up that stake, and I'm okay with it. This is another one I actually got in that haul, April 2020. So I got the Florida Ghost, I got the Epipremnum pinnatum, and I got the Hoya Vinolina in that package. And it's interesting to me that when I actually looked up the dates of when I got these plants, that 3 out of the 5 of them I got on the same day, and they are just absolutely amazing for me right now. I reflected this year on a lot of my plant care when I was trying to put this video together, and I definitely know what my mistakes were that I'm going to try to correct. Everybody's plant care is different. Everybody's environment is different. Everybody can do things with certain plants that other people can't. I have friends that, for instance, they can grow lipstick plants and get them to bloom in their sleep. I can't even get mine to grow. I threw one away because I just had it. There was nothing I could do. My daughter grows plants that I can't grow in her basement, and they absolutely thrive. And the thing is that a lot of them she got from me because I couldn't take care of them, and she just makes them thrive. So everybody's environment is different. Everybody's plant care is different, and I'm hoping that I learn from the mistakes that I made with more of the uncommon to me plants. Because I've grown, you know, your common plants and stuff like that for a long period of time, and they grew just fine. But it's only over the past few years that I've been paying attention, that I've found the resources, the people on YouTube that I watch regularly, that I learned that I could do better that way. And now comes the experimentation process, because over the past couple of years I have accumulated. I have definitely found what I like and don't like. And now I have the opportunity to kind of push some of those limits and see what I can do. So hopefully you guys will be here along with me to see how that goes. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this last video. I'm really hoping that you guys had a very nice Christmas with your friends and your family, and I hope that your New Year's, like you ring in the New Year's, in a way that just makes you feel glad that a new year is coming. 2022 wasn't all that bad, but I'm super excited for 2023. I have a lot that I am planning. I've got a lot that I'm hoping to accomplish next year, and I'm hoping I can take all of you along with me. So, that being said, I hope you are all safe and well. Please like and consider subscribing to my channel, and leave me a comment. I love talking to you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.